Slow adopter.
Wait till you're 72. Yeah, I'd like to call to order the September 23rd, 2025 meeting of the Stanton Historic Preservation Commission. First order of business will be a moment of silence. Okay. And due to the volume of submissions, we're going to dispense with the reading of the historic preamble and go directly to the approval of the August 26, 2025 minutes. Does anybody have any changes to those minutes? Nothing. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve those minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes.
Second. Made and seconded. Go ahead and take the vote on that. All in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Chair votes aye. Minutes are approved. All right, on to new business. Item A has been withdrawn. So we'll move on to item B. A certificate of appropriateness for 631 West Frederick Street, Breck J. Sparks, replacing roof, installing fence and handrails on the porch. Do we have anyone here to speak to this one? All right, well, we'll move on past that one and try it again at the end. All right. Item C, certificate of appropriateness for 342 Sherwood Avenue, Robert and Brenda Mead and Wendy Meyer, Working Nature, add retaining wall and handrails to porch and steps. Yep, right there.
Okay, that's loud. The wall is mainly, we're asking for that because the homeowner would like to remove the lawn to reduce the amount of maintenance that has to be done in this yard. And the wall will just hold everything and she can landscape the whole business all the way up to the street, and it turns back, so we keep those existing steps. And as far as the style of the wall, there are a lot of walls on this street, and there's limestone, there's cast concrete. But this house is pretty, it's an arts and crafts bungalow. And I think this kind of rubbly, smooth stones and the darker brown color just complements the house better. As far as the railing, apparently years ago, there was a railing on the steps from the house, and it has disappeared. Removed at some point. And the one that goes on the steps by the city walk is really loose and rusted out. It's kind of rotted from the inside. So that needs to be replaced. And we're just going to do much better railing. That is a simpler style. It's not like fluted with the lamb's tongues and the volutes. It's very straightforward. There's a picture somewhere in the packet of the railing styles that we're looking at. And Stokes of England will be doing those. Yeah. And they won't actually need to turn back because they said they can core drill right into that existing concrete. So they'll just be straight railings with real simple returns and a little button at the end that they'll forge in. So I don't have a whole lot to say. I mean, I think it will be a nice addition to the street, which is very social. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely.
It'll be a nice place to sit.
Very social.
So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I had, is just safety for the railing and just less maintenance and a nice compliment to the house for the wall. You all want to say things?
Well, I think you pretty much covered it, but my original purpose was really so that I could continue to do the kind of things that I love, the gardening that I love at my home, and that that steep decline in the lawn is very difficult for me to navigate these days. And my husband hates to mow it. So, and I know you'll find it unbelievable that we're going to spend that much money putting a wall in just because we don't want to mow it. But really the gardening part is more important to me. We bought the house about 15 years ago and I've planted 35 trees and over 70 shrubs and literally thousands of perennials in my garden. So I want to continue to be able to do that. Thank you.
All right. Any comments or questions? I believe Frank, who is not here tonight, recommended approval, saying the material and rubble appearance relates to the bungalow architectural style. Random rubble stone will differentiate between the new addition to the landscape and the surrounding historic materials.
Mr. Chair, he is on Zoom if you
Yeah.
need.
He's on Zoom.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Mike.
Hey.
Hey there. Yeah, you said it. I believe it does relate well to the proposed wall relates well to the architecture and surrounding materials, and the railings work quite well as too.
Okay, very good. Any other questions anyone has?
Stepped it so much, in case anybody's wondering, is there 7 feet of grade change from one side of the lot to the other? And I didn't want it to get so big that we needed like an engineer.
It's appropriate. Those kind of low retaining walls are pretty common in Stanton in the historic districts. Okay, there being no further questions or comments, do we have a motion?
Motion. I move that the certificate of appropriateness be approved as submitted. The material and rubble appearance relates to the bungalow architectural style. The random rubble stone will differentiate between the new addition to the landscape and the surrounding historic materials. The proposed railings also meet the guidelines in terms of material, design, and placement. And I cite for that C, fences and walls 7, 8, and 9.
All right, motion made. Do we have a second?
Second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further comments? Have the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Chair votes aye, passes unanimously. Thank you very much and good luck. We'll proceed to item D, certificate of appropriateness for 803 West Beverly Street, Amy Broderick, to remove chimney.
Yes, I know it's not great to remove items. However, my main issue with this chimney is that it's not usable in any way, shape, or form. Even if I were to try to repair parts of it so that the chimney was stable on top, it's an unusable chimney all the way down. Which I did not know when we bought the house. We were told the chimney was actually in good condition because we wanted to put a wood burning stove inside. And then when we went to do that, we found out the inside of the chimney is actually crumbling and it's not usable. So there's no fireplaces inside on that chimney. There's no use of that chimney probably ever in the future. So I really need to get the roof repaired or replaced, and having an extra cost associated with trying to keep that chimney on there is really cost prohibitive at this point in time. So, but I really, the roof is just at a point where I need to take care of that. But in order to comply with the needs of the historic district for the standing seam roof, it's very costly. And I still have a chimney on the house on the end, so.
And members have any questions or comments?
Yeah, how many fireplaces did the chimney originally service?
Yeah, I have no idea. It's all bricked up. There's no fireplaces indicated. I see on one of the brick walls, on the inside of the house, there is a small cement circle, which I think may have been for a stovepipe at one point that was sealed off, but there are no fireplaces inside. And I don't know if it went down to the basement to be part of
So
the.
did a chimney sweep come and tell you that it was not serviceable with telling you it was crumbling inside or what? How did that?
Yeah, well, the chimney sweep is the one who we had look at it when we first were buying the house, but then probably about 3 years ago, we had somebody from Acme come out to give us a quote for putting in a wood burning fireplace, and they said there's no way that there's not even a possibility of putting a liner in that chimney the way it is right now.
Mhm.
And also it's extremely difficult to access that portion of the attic where the chimney is like crumbling inside of there as well. There's only a very small, one person can barely get in there. So I don't even know how you would get in there and do any kind of masonry and,
It would have to be disassembled from the top down or fully repointed inside and then repointed outside.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know how you would repoint it from the inside because it's so difficult the attic space and access is so small.
Have you had estimates done on rebuilding the chimney?
I have not,
Airing it?
because if I cannot remove it, then I'm not going to do anything but have the flashing replaced around it and keep it as is and knowing that it's not very stable but I can't afford the extra cost because it's already a stretch to, replace a standing seam metal roof.
Last question. Did the chimney sweep cap the chimney? Is there a cap over top of it or is
The rain is not coming in through the top of the chimney. It's coming around the flashing. So the flashing would need to be replaced. So that would be my other option. But then that doesn't take care of the stability of the chimney, which is the other issue, which, you can see that it's leaning. When I got a home inspector to come out and look at it, he said it's not a very stable structure at this point.
Are there 2 flues or 1?
There's no flue. I mean, there's a spot in the basement where I guess it maybe is it's a hole, and it leads seems to lead up into the chimney.
Oil fired furnace.
Yeah, I assume that's what was down there at some point in time.
So at the top of the chimney, there have to be a flue all the way up. So are there 2 or 1 openings?
I don't know. There's some sort of I don't know. I can't get up there to see what that looks like. I'm not sure.
Sounds like there may have been.
So here's
One from the
the
basement and one from
the
inside.
difficulty. And I empathize. I understand where you're coming from because I literally had my fireplace and my flue. And I had to sacrifice one to make one good flue out of my chimney. So I just did this within the last 2 years. But one of the things that is most important in the architectural character of these old homes in the historic district is the chimney.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the pictures. Right now, the chimney is wrapped in metal. That was how we inherited the house.
Right. I
Not a
understand.
very attractive chimney as is.
I understand, but it is repairable. It is a fixable problem. It is an expensive problem, but it's a masonry chimney. They can disassemble it if needs be, put up scaffolding, and then rebuild it from the good mortar up. but it is repairable.
I understand that. I just don't, I mean, I don't know at what point it becomes cost prohibitive for folks to make repairs to their homes. You know, in order to maintain them. Seems to me there's got to be some sort of a trade-off at some point. I mean, I full well understand I need a metal roof, which I'm not arguing with at all. You know, and I know I have wood windows that need replaced and I can't afford that. So you know, I live with the storm windows that they're there because I agree those windows need to be replaced with wood windows, but they're just, I feel like at some point.
We don't really have the leeway. The governor made these rules in 1972, I believe, when the historic district law was created, and we're just the arbiters of whether it fits within the guidelines or doesn't. And removing the chimney is pretty one of those hard no's in the guidelines.
Yeah, we don't, in the Stanton ordinance, there's not an exception for the cost, but there is the option, you know, if it is determined that this submission was rejected, there is the option to take it to city council.
Could
Okay.
I ask about the metal that's wrapped around the chimney? How did that come about and why is it there?
I have no idea. That's how we bought the house. I don't know how long that's been there.
Looks like somebody's temporary fix. Somebody
I
did.
assume it's probably been there for a while and that it was put on there to try to keep the chimney in place, although it's not attached to anything. So I'm not really sure what it's doing. I'm certainly not going to try to take it off and risk it falling over. I mean, if the chimney falls off, am I obligated to put it back on? I'm just curious. Do we know?
Yes,
If the chimney falls off, I have to put it back on.
yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's hope it doesn't fall off then.
Is there any, do you know that the metal that's wrapping around that is not causing problems in the winter, for example, a freeze thaw or something like that, that just natural heat coming out of the house could be causing a lot of the ice melt to come down and go inside of the flashing. So the metal could be a problem instead of a fix.
That's definitely not the right fix.
If the mortar is in that bad a shape, reflashing the chimney for the new roof is not going to last, because the flashing has to go into a solid masonry matrix, which is bricks in good mortar. The mortar, I'm sure the bricks are fine in your chimney. It just needs to be relaid. It needs to be rebuilt. And this is a once every 125 year process, but it is maintenance on masonry. Masonry needs to be repointed.
Yeah, I mean, and most of the brick in the house has been, and I think the outside chimney mortar is okay. The inside, actually, it's some of the bricks that are crumbling. I mean, some of those bricks, that clay is just really soft, and I don't know what's caused that. But it is,
Well-
you know, it's not in the best condition.
If the cap wasn't well maintained, bricks are porous and they'll absorb water, and then they'll freeze and they blow out, and then they turn to dust. And
Yeah.
so I'm going to make a motion that we deny because we have to. And I understand the economic realities. I totally do, but we don't have the leeway to give you the exception.
Sure, I understand.
Have you looked into having it rebuilt from the roof line up, or just repointed from the roof line up and not having?
That's what I think.
That's when I purchased my house. I thought, oh yeah, a brick fireplace so we can use it, and then I learned that our chimney was in a similar condition to yours, and it was more than a nice new car to redo the whole thing. But then it was a roofer that pointed out that you could just repointed from that point up and then put a cap over the top. And that was 16 years ago for me, and I haven't had to think about it again. And it was a small fraction of the cost of trying to put a liner in or doing all the other things that we needed to actually use it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Just rebuild it from the roof line up.
I think that would be the way to go, and I think that's what Frank has recommended. Is that correct, Frank? Right. Is Frank here?
Sorry, I had to unmute my computer. So, yeah, I would recommend, if, depending on, you gotta get that metal off of there so you can actually see the condition of the brick. My chimneys are probably in fairly similar condition. They're leaning, and need to be repointed on my house. And that's my plan, is just to rake those joints and repoint them and get a cap on those chimneys. And that's a basic maintenance thing for these houses. And yeah, it will cost money to have a good mason do that, but it's well worth the money. I'm very surprised that you couldn't put a 4-inch or even a 6-inch stainless steel flexible flue down that chimney and operate either a gas-fired or a wood-fired stove, a modern stove. I would be very, very surprised you couldn't do that.
I was very surprised as well, but I mean, I do trust the folks that came out to know.
Well, and also just that the resale value of the house, if it has a working chimney flue, is, for me, means a lot.
Well, I know, and that's what I thought when we bought the house, but apparently we were misinformed or the chimney went bad real fast. So I don't know, but yeah, it was a little bit disappointing, but I mean, that's certainly not in the stars for me. I mean, I'm, and there's a real possibility I will sell the house before too long. So I'm definitely not going to invest in a whole chimney repair at this point. So if somebody else decides to take that on, great, but otherwise it's going to probably just stay as is, and I'll do what I can to make the roof repairs.
Are you operating a heat pump or a gas furnace?
It's just a heat pump, yeah.
Okay. Some of that deterioration from the interior can come from gas furnaces.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I made a
Would you
motion
like-
to.
Okay, I'll
to-
second the motion. Okay.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. Then, are there any further comments? In that case, we will have the vote. All those in favor of the motion to deny the application signify by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye, the application is denied, but as I said, you do have the option to bring it to city council, make your case there. And
Okay.
they do have the option to take costs into consideration and anything they would like to take into consideration. So,
Okay. Thank you.
good luck.
Mr. Brown, Ms. Broderick, also, I will reach out to you and let you know what the appeal process would be, as well as that was for the, as part of the application for the chimney. If you're just doing a roof repair, that, as long as it's not over, like replacing the whole roof resurface, you won't need to come back, but just a repair for a few of the panels would be fine. You could move forward with that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, moving ahead to item E, certificate of appropriateness for 115 Madison Place. Paula Rao, install skylights on the rear.
Yeah, yes, as noted, I just want to put 2 skylights on the rear of my house. This is at the level of my attic, and as you can see from the picture, actually there's a basement level, first floor level, a second floor level, and then the attic. And actually I have well, it's variable because of the slope of the street, but about a 6-foot stone wall down at the street level. So this is really high. You would have to crane your neck to see it. It's between 2 existing chimneys. In 2022, I came to you and asked to put a large dormer in that same location. And you approved it, but it turned out to be very, very complicated and expensive. My contractor was going to build it on the ground and use a crane to lift it. And so we didn't go forward with that. So this is a much simpler project, I hope. And the skylights are Velux skylights. Are good quality skylights, and the size very fortunately fits between the existing rafters, which are 24 inches apart. And these skylights, I think, are 21 or 22 inches in width. So my contractor says he won't have to cut into any of the original rafters or anything like that. So that's the main request. I'd be happy to answer. Oh, it faces on actually also St. Clair Street, and the block that we're on, St. Clair, has no facing residences. It's all either garages or very, very tall trees. And so I don't think it's going to be very obtrusive to have these there.
All right, thank you. Do we have any comments or questions on this?
I'll say that your plan's very clear and we appreciate that. Sometimes we get some that aren't, and
Oh, thank you, Dennis.
I understand exactly what you want to do. And I mean, I personally have no problem.
That's why we don't have any questions.
Okay.
Personally, it seems like reasonable. And I know Frank has also given his thumbs up too.
Okay, thank you.
Frank, anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think I've outlined it fairly well, and it's even reviewed by the National Park Service in their Q&A of how to make changes to buildings. And since the skylights are a low profile at the rear of the building and don't take away from the rhythm or proportions of the building, it's fine.
I have a 4-foot Velux in my bathroom on the rear elevator.
Oh,
of
great.
My own home, and it lets in so much light, and it's awesome. So
Yeah, I'm going to try to have a office and artist studio at that level. And so the only lights are where there used to be vents on the side gables and one on the front gable. And they're like 2 feet square and very low, so they don't let much light in.
sustainable.
So good. I'm glad you've got some you like. That's great. So,
All right, do we have a motion on this?
I move for approval of the addition of 2 skylights as proposed to the roof of 115 Madison Place. I'm citing number 5 of the guidelines for existing buildings. Number 2 and 9 are additions. Number 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6.
All right, motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I don't think there's any further comments on, so we'll have the vote. All those in favor of approving this application signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, passes unanimously. Good luck.
thank you.
Thank
you very
you.
much.
For number F, I need to recuse myself for this and I'll pass the gavel over to Dennis.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is for 120 South Lewis Street. This is an application I believe that we have seen before, and is a return with some changes to consider. Do we have, are you speaking to that, Mike?
I'm speaking to this, but it's actually not a return.
Oh, this is not a
For
return. on
this one. This is new. It's very simple. It's at the Redbeard Brewing Complex of buildings there. There's apartments on the second floor, and there's one apartment that has not been developed. So he wants to build that out, and There's not very many windows. So we would like to put 2 windows up high on a wall that's set back. And you can see that frame wall that's set in the back, actually 3 windows in there. Further up on the second level there. Yeah.
There you go. So back here. Here.
Not on that side, facing Lewis, but it's on that wall facing, not there,
On the other
not
side.
there.
I think above the Redbeard sign.
Above the Redbeard sign, right? Right up there where the siding is up there.
Siding above.
Yeah, directly above that, right on that wall.
Got it.
Yeah. Warmer.
It's not highly visible. These would be 3 fiberglass tele units that would go up in there. And that's really it for this submission.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Mr. Strassler, you have comments on this application?
I had recommended approval. So the windows that are being added to a secondary area for new use, they don't duplicate any fenestration of the building. And, usually we don't encourage the addition of new windows to historic areas of buildings, but this has such a minimal view from the street and is set back that it's like an addition that's being set back on a rooftop that isn't viewable. So I really think it probably will work with the historic buildings and meets the basic guidelines.
Thank you. Commission members, comments or questions?
And you can go with any windows you want because they're new and we don't want them to
Carter?
look like they were
I don't have any
1890
problems.
windows. Be a weird 1890 window.
Seeing no comments from commission members or questions, do we have a motion?
I move for the application for the certificate of appropriateness be approved because the windows will be added to the secondary wall. They're required for new use, not duplicate historic fenestration. There's no windows there. We're not altering the front facade. So, yes.
Have a second?
Second.
Seeing that the motion's made and seconded, we can call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Stand-in chair votes aye, so the application is accepted and passes. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
The building's still a funky shaped building.
Yeah. Well, you do wonder what the history of.
Yeah, it is an odd one.
I just remember that as Mr. What's his name's paint store.
I don't. Which one? Al Marcoonis's building here?
Oh, no, not this one, the other one.
That's Al Marcoonis. He took it like
All right, let's see. That ends our new business. We have some old business. The first item is a certificate of appropriateness for 110 South Lewis Street for HVAC screening, Gary Clark and Annie Matat.
Good evening. So this is an update to our application from July, and essentially nothing on the scope has changed that was approved previously. This is just a revision on the chiller unit on the roof that we talked about last time that was added in right before the meeting. So we have some more information on that unit. This is what we're looking at is the worst case scenario, largest unit that they will need, which is 48 inches deep, 89 inches wide, 66 inches tall. And so we have moved that back to the furthest back roof on the north addition, which is the non-historic portion of the building. And we're proposing to screen that on the east and north sides with a either wood or metal. I think it would probably be wood screening that is just vertical posts and then horizontal slats to sort of tie in a little bit with the horizontal railing that we're putting on the new roof deck. And that would be 54 inches tall. And so we've got some views of that from Lewis and from the adjacent streets there. This is a little bit visible from every side. So we've got views from Lewis and views from, on the next page, views from Johnson Street looking to the south. And then you can see it a little bit from Church Street, just in between the trees. That rendering is a little more dramatic than what you can actually see from Church Street, just because, you know, there's a lot of trees there and it's kind of far away. So, but it is visible from there. Just for the sake of, argument, I had some questions about whether it would actually be less obtrusive with no screening. So the last page of what we submitted has the unit with no screening around it at all, just in case that came up. So we've moved it as far back from Lewis Street as we can. There's an existing roof vent on that north addition, so it'll sit in front of that just because there's not room behind it. And then it's far enough set back from all the edges that we do not need a guardrail around that for rooftop mechanical units for servicing. So I personally, I think it does look better with the screening, but I just included that just in case anybody was wondering what it would look like with no screening. And I think that about covers it. Do you have any questions?
The screening would be, and I don't care about preference, but you know, painted or stained to look kind of brown.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
thinking a dark color, stained or painted to be a darker color. And we've asked for metal or wood. There are some sort of prefab screening products available that are metal that can also come in a dark color, but it would be a very similar design.
Right. Frank, do you have any comments on the screening?
I think the screening actually works fairly well, so that it just doesn't look like mechanical equipment. And that, you know, it's the best that can be done in this situation of stepping it back from the side of the roof and attempting to hide the addition of that equipment on a rooftop. I don't believe that section of the building, I don't believe is historic. So we're not impeding upon the main historic structure.
Anyone else have any questions or comments?
I'll just say I agree that the screening seems the most appropriate solution.
Looks good. All right, do we have a motion?
I will move that the certificate of appropriateness that has been revisited this evening for 110 South Lewis Street, specifically concerning the installation of a cooler unit toward the rear of the sort of small utility part of the complex, be approved. Specifically, the proposal is to screen the cooling unit with a wood slat structure on two sides that will be stained or painted. And this meets our guidelines, the Secretary of Interior and also the City of Staunton, specifically additions, rooftop additions, which is section R, numbers 1 through 5.
All right, second. Motion been made and seconded. Any further comments? All right, all those in favor of approving this certificate of appropriateness signify by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I like that.
And our second item of old business, certificate of appropriateness for St. Francis of Assisi, Matthew Fitzgerald, 118 North New Street for window replacement.
Good evening. Yeah, I'm happy to be here before you tonight again to bring the submission with the requested changes. So my understanding from the last meeting was that the committee had asked that we fill the entire masonry openings of the windows that were in question. As you recall, when they were replaced in the 1980s, it's at least my understanding that they went with sort of standard size units. And so in order to work with standard size units, they filled in the openings with framing to work to those standard sizes. And so with the requested changes, our windows now will span entirely from masonry opening to masonry opening on both sides, and also at the head and the sill of the window opening. The only place where we find that to be a challenge is on the window that's currently in view right now at the top of the screen, which appears on the south side of the building. And there is a kitchen in that space that is currently in use. There's no current intention to renovate the kitchen, and short of renovating the kitchen with new cabinetry and the like to allow windows to pass behind it. It would require some significant intervention in that regard. So on that window and on that window only, we request that while we will extend to the masonry opening on the right side and the left side and the top, that we have an infill with new material, whether it's the subsill carries across the bottom of those proposed windows as at the approximate height, or if it's a flat panel. I'm open to committee suggestions on that. But in every other place, we intend to extend the windows to the original masonry openings.
Comments, questions?
In view 5, why is that at the bottom? Is there some functional reason or some kitchen?
I don't know. I don't know the reason for it. What I do know is that the windows that are there that were replaced in the 80s were the bottom of those windows are set just above the backsplash,
Okay.
or sitting right on
Countertop,
top of the
okay.
backsplash
Countertop, just
of the
curious.
kitchen cabinets that are
Having
in
filled
that.
in window openings myself
Right.
for kitchens.
So that's why it's, or that's at least my best guesstimate as to
This
what's
would
going on there.
Not be a change from that. It would be maintaining what's there now, essentially, for that one window,
Yep.
except for extending to the gym.
Is it a wood
Right.
panel?
Sorry.
Currently that flat bottom area of a wood
Yeah,
panel?
I think they just use marine plywood, and it's fallen. It'll-
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd put something and then put a hardy panel or something. Yeah.
And I think your first suggestion of the sill, keeping it like it is now, going across, and then the panel underneath.
Yeah, so we could extend a substill that runs from underneath the brick mold on either side across all three windows and terminating on the underside of the brick mold on the other side.
Frank, do you have any comment on that?
No, you see my recommendation. I think that wraps it up.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll do one. I move the application for a certificate of appropriateness be approved. The application is to replace non-historic replacement windows installed approximately 40 years ago and in 2004. The proposed new windows are aluminum clad without divisions. The project goal is to meet the zoning code by replacing non-character defining elements in kind while using matched new units. The new units will be sized to better fit the historic openings. All remaining historic windows, molding, and hardware are to be retained. I cite the guidelines, part 5, elements B, windows 3, 4, and 8. 8 and 9. And also the Secretary of the Interior's guidelines.
We have a second.
Second.
All right. Any further comments? Okay, so we'll have the vote. All those in favor of approving this for the windows at 118 North New Street, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Thank you very much.
Very
May I
much.
ask a question of the committee? In the, Mr. Lively, when you read the motion, it read differently than the copy I have as far as the sample motion. And you made reference to panels 3, 4, 8, and 9. And I'm looking, are those in reference to the images that I submitted in the application, or is there,
No,
Not
those
sure
are
what
the
those-
guidelines. Those are
oh, guidelines.
the
through-
Guidelines,
historic
Got it,
guidelines.
got it. I'm
yeah.
with you. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Thank you very much. Okay,
It's the
Understood.
city's part.
very well. Thank you.
Okay,
you.
thanks. All right, that concludes our old business. Do we have any other business tonight?
I don't have any other business. I will say that next month, when you get the packet with the minutes in it, they're gonna look a little different. Because they're gonna be simplified a little bit. They're not gonna have like how Frank's whole review is in there and things like that. Because we also, all of our, the videos from the meetings now are going to be available on YouTube, just like city council and planning commission meetings are. So if anyone ever wanted to, you could go and view the whole meeting. And so we don't need to have the minutes as detailed. So they will, be pretty simple, but it'll be shorter minutes that you have to review. So it'll have all the good things in it, but just a heads up on that so you're aware when you get them.
Frank's recommendations will still.
So Frank will still be giving us recommendations. You will be getting those in your packets, but his whole recommendation that's currently gets, copied over into the minutes won't be
I
there
got
in
you.
detail.
I see.
Right.
I'm with you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Well, in that case, that concludes tonight's meeting.
I'll get with the program. I'm just
Thank you.
reluctant.
Thanks. They probably locked you out, so we'll probably.
Well, and I was gonna say, I'll just come in and you can direct me to whoever and I'll jump whatever hoops.
Have a very brief meeting and get you taken
Very
care of.
helpful.
Very short time.
7 of them.
There's some who, what?
There's 7 of them in IT.
In IT, yeah, I guess.
Whole department.
Yes.